What's the most surprising reaction you've received?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked that it's like a Friday night. We're in LA. There's so many things to do. I can't believe so many people are here seeing the film. Especially we're 5 months into the release of the film. I think it's week 20. And I'm just like, wow, thanks for coming out, guys. It's like, it's pretty moving.
I wanted to hear the Tim McGraw song, didn't you?
Yeah.
Good. I'm Christy Lemire. Hello, good to see you. I'm from RogerEbert.com and the Breakfast All Day podcast. But more importantly, Alex Honnold's here. Come on out. Because Alex likes doing the standing up free-range Q&As. People usually like to sit down. And what was your theory on that? Why would you want to sit?
No, it's more dynamic when you stand. I think it's more lively.
So we're going to stand. We're going to chat for a little bit, and then we'll take some questions, and we'll get you on your way. So, this got nominated for an Oscar.
You got it.
What has all of this been like? So he and I did like 7 Q&As together like 4 months ago when this first came out, and I've not seen you since then. What has all of this been like?
Well, what's crazy about it is it feels like about 4 days ago that we were standing at the ArcLight doing Q&As when the film first opened, and it's really hard to believe it's been 4 months. It's been this crazy whirlwind tour of going to different, theaters all over the country and then theaters all over the world. Because toured Europe a bit and the UK. And film's nominated for a BAFTA for the British Academy as well, and so we've been basically touring. It's pretty crazy. I'm obviously not a filmmaker. I'm more of a rock climber, and so I didn't know anything about this world until the last 4 or 5 months, and now I feel like I've gotten quite a crash course.
What have you learned that surprised you?
I've learned that it's pretty grueling, actually, touring the film. Honestly, I cannot believe that actors do this all the time. Like the idea of wrapping up this tour and then going and shooting another movie and then doing it again next year is, I don't want to be too negative, it's totally out of the question. I'm definitely going climbing for a very long time after this.
You were in London recently.
Yeah, like 4 days ago or something.
What was going on there? What was in London?
I don't know. I go where the schedule tells me. No, I think we were doing screenings. It opened on IMAX in London, and so we were doing screenings and BAFTA screenings. I don't know exactly. It's all kind of an adventure. I say that I'm just a leaf in the wind now. I just flutter and enjoy. It's all just part of the process.
Where were you on Oscar nomination morning, and what was your reaction?
I was sleeping in my bed, and then I was with Sonia at our home in Vegas, so we're still together all as well, and so we were just, sleeping in bed. Yeah, I'll tell you guys applauded. So we just woke up. Actually, I flew to London that morning, and so I basically got up early, went and did a gym session, and flew to London. I've been trying to stay consistent by going to climbing gyms so that I can still at least be a good climber despite being more of a movie person now. But so when we woke up and took our phones out of airplane mode, we were like, oh wow, we got nominated, that's pretty crazy. And so we had a flurry of phone calls and texts with all of our friends, and certainly with the filmmakers, with Sean and Jimmy, the co-directors. And they were obviously very excited because they put a lot of work into creating a great film and then to putting it out there so people would see it. And I think to see that recognized was pretty great for the whole team.
You're a pretty even-tempered guy, which serves you well in this setting. Like, did you scream? Did you freak out? Or were you like, that's cool?
For the nomination?
Yeah.
I'm like, is anyone here an Academy member before I just go off?
We're all friends here, it's okay.
Okay, so I might have a slightly different perspective on it than the rest of the crew, but the thing about it is that it's completely subjective. There's no metric for what makes a great film. It's totally, so much of it is popularity and who knows who and who has seen it and who's friends with whoever and who hosted a screening, and I'm just like, I don't know, I come from a world of rock climbing, it's the big objective features. The rock is always there, the rock never changes. If you work hard enough at it, eventually you can climb it. And if you can't climb it, come back next season and keep training and try harder. And it's a little bit weird running, award campaign stuff for the film because it's, no matter how great the film is, even if it is the best film ever made, if nobody sees it, then nobody knows. And it's like it's all sort of subjective. And it's also human based. I don't know. So I prefer not to base. I prefer not to base my happiness on something that's completely subjective. Like that. It's kind of like the weather. Like if it rains tomorrow, I'm not going to cry or rejoice. I'm just kind of like, what? If it rains, it rains. Like that's the way it goes sometimes. And so for things that are totally outside your control and totally subjective, you just go with it. You're a weak human. Anyway, but if anything's in the Academy, thank you so much for your
So you know this whole award circuit. I saw on Instagram that you went to the Producers Guild Awards and that you didn't have a tux, and so you had to borrow one. Whose tux did you borrow?
Yeah, I borrowed from Jared Leto, actually. For those, actually, I don't know if anyone's a super Jared fan here, but he's actually in the film. There's a small cameo where we've climbed together a fair number of times over the years and pretty good friends now. And there's a scene at the beginning where we're climbing together and we're chatting about El Cap. But his back is mostly to the camera, and the filmmakers felt like it'd be distracting to be like, and now a cameo from Jared Leto. It's a little random, a little weird, so they didn't label it, and he's not explicitly in the film. But he's totally in the beginning. You gotta watch it again. You'll be like, but anyways, I don't have a lot of friends in LA that have spare tuxes and could easily hook it up. And so I was like, oh. And so we were actually climbing the gym together that morning, and so I asked his assistant to throw a bunch of potential clothes in the car. And so it turns out they're way too small. Jared, we're like roughly the same size, except that I'm about 20 pounds heavier, just like bigger than him. And so I was bursting out of the suit, and it was outrageous. I had to have the sign had to put my shoes and socks on for me, because I literally couldn't reach down my foot. I was like, my quads are going to burst out of his pants. But,
and you're a flexible guy.
Well, yeah, but I mean the fabric. I was like, oh my gosh, I felt like the whole suit was laminated in my body. I was like, I guess. But I appreciated it.
Do you have a tux of your own now?
Not quite, but I'm working on it.
Because you gotta wear one for the Oscars.
Yeah, well, I'm supposed to wear one tomorrow night at the grocery store.
Oh, right, there's that too. So what are you gonna do?
We went, I think I'm picking one up tomorrow. Cool. Yeah, Jared's going out of town, and I was like, I can get suits anyway.
So do you have time to climb? I know you went climbing before you came here, but how are you finding time in the midst of all this to still be who you are?
Well, yeah, actually, surprisingly, the last 5 or 6 weeks I've been doing sort of a really focused climbing training. Actually, out of curiosity, how many of you guys are climbers? That's so interesting, because when I was here 4 months ago, pretty much everyone was climbers, and now I just asked at the last Q&A, and like nobody's climbers anymore. And I appreciate you guys coming to see the film. Thanks, guys. Yeah, because with the climbing community, I was like, oh, obviously the climbers are going to come out and see the film, because it's just such a El Cap is such a iconic feature. It's a big draw. But it means a lot to me that the people that haven't loved El Cap their whole lives will see the film too. Anyway, so about staying in shape, basically I've been being pretty focused about going into the climbing gym and the little blocks of time that I have in between film events, and basically as long as you go hard enough for the time that you do have, you still get pretty tired. So. Is it
more of a challenge to stay focused mentally in those times where you can work out, or is it just you're on when you're on?
Well, I mean, so training in the climbing gym, you don't have to really focus mentally that much. I mean, you just do your workout, you try hard. I mean, it's all like just working on any other kind of gym, except way more fun because you're climbing. But it's, I mean, it's nothing like the experience of freestyling a big wall or even climbing a rope in general, where there are consequences if you make a mistake and you have to actually be fully attentive to what you're doing. I mean, climbing in the climbing gym is playful, it's fun, you're just going and having a good time and getting a workout. And that's been great for me, but I mean, when I start climbing outside again, it's going to be a lot more exciting. I kind of can't wait. But in some ways, this is a bit of a vacation for me, because I've been a professional climber for 12 years, and I've been basically climbing outside and adventuring nonstop for 12 years. And so this represents the biggest break I've had from that outdoor climbing lifestyle. I mean, this is the biggest amount of time that I haven't been living in my van in, I don't know, I guess 12 years or 13 years. And so, it's kind of a good change of pace just to rebuild the cycle a little bit. I mean, by the time I go outside again, I'm going to be so psyched. It's like, I mean, I haven't even seen the sun in so long. Like, the idea of just going outside and being shirtless and soaked in the sun and just climbing, I'm like, I cannot wait.
So when can you get back into Yosemite and do all of this again?
Potentially May. Right now, I've blocked the whole month of May, totally open to go rock climbing again. So we'll see. But I wouldn't be Yeah, I know. I'm about that site too. But I wouldn't be surprised if it collapses before then. We'll see.
Has this whole experience, has the film and seeing the film over and over again, has it changed your perspective on how you do what you do at all?
Not that much. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, what do you mean exactly?
I mean, your life is blown up here, and you've gotten massive feedback from all over the world, right? And so we all have been crawling in your brain, crawling on these rocks with you. Has that changed how you feel about what you do yourself, though?
No. Interesting. I don't think so. I'm sure.
Not necessarily. I'm just curious to know, because now you shared this with the world, and that wasn't true beforehand.
So I think that when I watched the film, and I've only watched the film a handful of times. Like when it first came out at all the premieres of the film festivals, I watched it with you know my girlfriend and my family, like all the people that were important to me, and the whole crew and the crew's wives and everything. We all watched it together a handful of times. And then in all the screenings, I try not to watch it just because nobody needs to see himself on a screen that much. But then just a couple weeks ago when it came out on IMAX for the first time, I watched the whole film again just because it's so much more epic. I was like, this is so incredible. And I don't know, I think that when I watched the film, you know, my takeaway is more the social aspects of it. I mean, I watched some of the interactions with Sonny, and I'm just like, oh, that is not ideal. Like, I should definitely be a little kinder. Like, I could definitely do that a little better next time. You know, I mean, I think that when I watch the climbing, I'm like, that's great. I mean, that's what I do best. And honestly, I'm pretty proud of all the climbing in the film. You know, I put a lot of work into it, and I think I did it pretty well. You know? But there are a lot of other things in the film that I'm like, oh, there's still a lot of room for improvement there. So, you know, we'll see.
So what is going on in your brain when you're doing this climb?
Well, not that much. And that's kind of why it's such a pleasurable experience. I mean, I think that after 2 years of effort, by the time I actually did the free solo, I didn't have to think about very much. I wasn't concerned about very much. I wasn't afraid. You know, because I put so much time into it, I was able to just execute. I just performed. I just climbed. And I think that's kind of what makes it such an enjoyable experience, is that you're able to just do the thing for 4 hours and not think about anything else in life, not worry about whether or not you're doing it right, just know that you're doing it right.
So I know at the end, Sonny is so pumped because you're never going to do it again, right? Are you going to do it again?
I don't know. I mean, freestyling El Cap, it's hard to imagine why I would want to. I mean, I guess, you know, I guess I could because I know that I can. I know how to. I know how to prepare for it. But the thing is, to free solo again and feel comfortable doing it would require, you know, at least a couple months of preparation. And I would rather spend that time climbing something new or establishing a new route or, you know, going on an expedition somewhere new in the world where I haven't climbed before. Basically, I'd rather learn something new from it. So, you know, there'd have to be some really compelling reason to, you know, I don't really know why I would. But I wouldn't say out of the question no, just because it was one of the best climbing experiences of my life, and I do know how to do it now. And, you know, potentially if I continue to improve as a climber for a few years, like maybe it'll seem easy for me someday. Though certainly not right now. You know? And it's funny, actually, I was in Yosemite this fall very briefly, and looking up at the wall, I was like, it definitely doesn't look any easier. You know, like, despite having to be solo, you look at it, it still looks completely impossible and kind of crazy. It's like, that is such a big wall.
When you're looking at it, though, are you doing all the mental steps in your head of like, okay, my foot goes here, my hand goes here? Like, are you reliving that experience?
No, I mean, if I think about it, I mean, mostly when I look at the wall, I'm just like, what a beautiful piece of stone, and I kind of imagine other lines on it and other places you could climb or things that I'd like to do. I mean, if I think about it, yeah, I still remember all the moves, and I could mime out, you know, how to do the whole bullet from right now. You know, it's all, yeah, I remember it. But I prefer to look at it as sort of this blank canvas to do other climbs on. You know, I mean, it's a very big rock. There are a lot of routes on it.
Where do you want to go next? What is still out there for you?
Well, I mean, like I said, hopefully in Yosemite to work on some new routes on Cap, actually. But I don't know if Flynn and I are talking about an expedition in Pakistan this summer to climb basically Yosemite-sized walls, but at higher altitude in the Karakoram. So, I mean, that's kind of, but as a professional climber, that's basically what you do. You go to new places, you climb new routes, you climb them in better style. I mean, you know, I've spent the last 12, 15 years traveling full time and trying to do new things like that. So I heard somebody over there be like, oh, climbing the Karakoram? I'm like, no, that's pretty normal for a professional climber.
How's the band?
Oh, the band's great. I unfortunately don't get to live in it that much right now, but
Unfortunately, don't get to, because you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, band life is so simple and wonderful and peaceful, and Compared to being in airports and hotels and being shuttled around cities and stuff and random cars that aren't yours, living in a van is pretty relaxing. It's a very simple life, and I kind of miss that. But the van's parked on our driveway, and it doubles as our extra guest bedroom. Actually, it works pretty well. And people get a little private nook outside.
It could be like an Airbnb for you guys.
I don't remember. Well, plus someone might drive away with the Airbnb.
That's true.
Yeah. They're like, oh, we just took the bedroom with us.
How's life in Vegas? What's day-to-day life like for you there?
Well, I've barely been there, but day-to-day life in Vegas is amazing. It's actually one of the best outdoor recreation, climbing hubs in the country. And nobody really knows Vegas for that, but because people just think of the Strip. But it's actually surrounded by mountains, and so from my house it's like a 10-15 minute drive to mountain biking and rock climbing and everything. And it's actually really good all 4 seasons despite the heat, because there's high altitude stuff all around it. You can go to 10,000 feet and climb in the shade. It's actually perfect in the summertime. So if anyone wants to do outdoor recreation, go to Las Vegas. That's awesome.
Were you in Yosemite at all during the shutdown?
No, I don't even know what. Yeah, I don't know where I was during the shutdown. No, I don't know. I was like in London and various, I don't know where.
Where the government was still working.
Yeah, exactly. I escaped civilization. Don't want to see the government shutting down too.
Yes.
Because nobody's following UK news. It's all sort of a disaster with Brexit.
Speaking of your world travels, how is your foundation going?
Yeah, it's good. Actually, that's probably one of the biggest upsides of the film. So I guess it's briefly mentioned in the film, but the Honnold Foundation is something that I've been working on for 5 years to sort of support solar projects around the world. And so it's been a bit of a passion project to try to do something useful with my life. And the film has definitely blown up the profile a bit, and we're doing a lot more projects this year. It's pretty exciting.
Where do you want to go with it next? What countries?
Well, I don't know. Actually, we're doing more stuff domestically, and we're looking at a big project in Puerto Rico, which is technically domestic, but it still feels sort of different in a way. But yeah, basically wherever we find the right projects to support. So
You've been all around the world with this film, talking to folks about this film. What's the most surprising reaction you've received?
I don't know. Honestly, I'm kind of shocked. It's like a Friday night. We're in LA. There's so many things to do. I can't believe so many people are here seeing the film. Especially we're 5 months into the release of the film. I think it's week 20, and I'm just like, wow. Thanks for coming out, guys. It's pretty moving. I can't believe that so many people are still watching it. I'm like, I was bored months ago, but.
This is like the biggest release yet for the film.
Yeah, shocking. It's on IMAX this week, and it's 350 screens plus the other. It's almost 500 screens total this week, which is bigger than the biggest release of the film at its peak when it came out, a month in. I don't know. So it is kind of crazy that it's now. 5 months in, and it's bigger than it was a month in, which I think doesn't. I don't know anything about films. It's not like I've distributed a movie before, but I think that's pretty unusual. What you telling me?
But it's also like Oscar voters are voting right now, so they get movies back out in front of people's eyeballs as they're voting.
Oh, well.
That's what that's about.
Yeah,
but still, it's really cool. On IMAX, it's amazing.
Yeah.
This is just big.
It's big, but it can be bigger.
They showed the dome when it first opened.
Yeah,
just being
outrageous.
Yes.
Yeah. Should we take some questions?
Let's take questions. Yeah, man, right here in the blue jacket.
What do you eat before you do a big wall?
Question is, what do you eat before you do a big wall?
Basically normal food. I've been vegetarian for many years, mostly for the environmental impact, trying to minimize my footprint whatever way I can. But before Fusilling El Cap, I had muesli and berries and hemp milk, just like a standard breakfast. But for me, a lot of it was about maintaining a routine. It wasn't so much about what in particular I was eating. It was just that it was just important that it was the same thing I've been eating throughout all the preparation, just so that on the day of, I would feel exactly the same as I had throughout my months of preparing. So I had kind of the same dinner, I had the same breakfast, everything felt totally the same, and that was the important part.
One thing.
One.
If you want anything different, then I have a book for you.
Oh yeah?
Aww.
It's all vegetarian.
Oh my goodness, it's a vegetarian cookbook.
Oh my gosh.
Like you give a.
But the U is bleeped out, so it's not really a curse
Yeah, I
word.
don't know.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yes, right here, yes.
At any given time, there's a ton of climbers in Yosemite Valley. If you show up, buzz is out. How many people knew you were doing that at the time? And was the unicorn trying to crash your climb?
So that's actually a really good question. So that was one of my big concerns with the whole project of wanting to free solo El Cap, is that there are always a lot of climbers in Yosemite. And because Yosemite is public land, it's open to anybody can just show up, start climbing El Cap. It's not permitted, it's not regulated in any way. And for those that don't know, I mean, most climbers on El Cap spend 3 to 5 days climbing the wall. So the people camping on the wall is totally normal. I mean, you always run into people camped in various places. And you can see that in the footage of me preparing on the days that I would rappel down and work on different sections of the route. In a couple of the shots, you can see all these other ropes hanging and like other people climbing and like random stuff going on the wall. That's totally normal. You know, every time I'd work on it, you'd be like rappelling through some party or whatever. You're like, oh, hey, cool, you guys are like 6 days into this epic adventure. Like, hope you guys have fun. You know? and oftentimes I would see the same people 3 times in a row. Because, you know, like on day 1, I'd see them on the bottom, and then on day 3, you'd see them in the middle, and day 5, you'd see them at the top, and they were like now the shells of men all haggard. And they're like, please take my extra water. And so I knew that the word would get out that I was spending a lot of time on that route, and there was a film crew around, and I was a little worried about that because I definitely didn't want to attract a spectacle. I didn't want a bunch of people watching or any kind of extra pressure because I didn't really know if I would ever do the free solo, so I didn't want people asking about it all the time. But I don't know, for whatever reason, it never really wound up being a problem. Part of it was just sheer luck. Like 2017 when I did this solo, was actually an unexpectedly heavy winter in California. I don't know if anyone remembers, but it was double the average snowfall in the High Sierra. So the wall was a lot more wet that season than average. And so it kind of kept some climbers away for the beginning of the season, and then it starts to get hot. And it was interesting because it made my preparations all a lot more uncertain because I was trying to, while I was practicing the climb, the wall was still pretty wet, and I knew that the wall had to dry out completely before I'd be able to do the free solo. But I wasn't sure if it would dry out before it was just summertime, just too hot to climb. And so I was kind of hoping that there would be this sweet spot. And so I did all my, I basically did 2 months of preparation, just hoping that the conditions would materialize, and thankfully they did, and it worked out fine. It was all pretty uncertain for the whole season. Excuse me. Anyway, so I think it was just kind of lucky that there weren't that many people that season, and it wound up not really being an issue. And I think that the really core climbing community in Yosemite sort of knew what was going on, and just didn't really talk about it, just kind of gave me the space. I think because for most other climbers, they were kind of horrified by the whole idea, and they kind of didn't want to, they're just like, you do you, and like, let's not know about it. Like nobody really wants to ask, nobody wants to know. They're all like, oh, that seems really scary. Like everyone's slightly uncomfortable about the whole thing, so they just kind of let it be.
I wonder now, though, with the new level of fame that you have, could you achieve that kind of secrecy with your climb?
Not to. So my level of fame in Yosemite hasn't changed. Like not to sound douchey, but like anybody on El Cap, like knew who I was before anyway.
Okay.
So every day that I was rappelling down El Cap, like any other climber you'd be like, oh cool, just because I've done so much other climbing in Yosemite over the last 10 years. So that didn't really change anything. Yeah, it was already kind of a thing.
Cool.
Let's see, right here, the therapist. Yeah,
Can I
you.
ask your question? Well,
Go ahead.
his nephew's a climber, so he might have
Yeah.
a climbing question. I just wondered for people that aren't super duper athletes, I noticed that you're not, buff or like, but you're
You don't become
obviously
buff.
like.
I worked so hard at it.
You've got like the muscles of like a dancer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like,
lean.
for somebody who's not like a
I think
big
tone is the word.
what exercises, what kind of workout routine?
So asking about exercise routine and fitness. The thing about climbing is that it always comes down to strength to weight ratio. So at a certain point, it's easier to stay light than it is to get stronger. It's just not that easy to always get stronger. So when you say that I don't look that buff,
Bulk.
I don't look that bulky. I like that. Yeah, I'm not really
You're
bulky.
not bulky,
But
that's what I
no, it's because carrying big muscles is hard. It's basically better to be leaner. I only have to move my own body weight up the wall, and so you kind of hit a sweet spot of what's the most efficient way to carry yourself. And actually, in climbing terms, I'm a relatively big climber. I'm pretty heavy compared to a lot of my peers. But I was born big bone. I just got to work with it.
Tensile strength. Mine's super quick. Just on the morning that you bailed, you said, I went up and I cheated. Does that mean that your foot slipped, or what does
No,
what you
no,
mean by
so-
cheated?
Yeah, so on my failed attempt my first attempt at free-soloing on cap, I got up to a certain point, I decided I wasn't into it, and I started cheating. So what that meant was that the bolts that you would normally clip your rope into, I started grabbing them with my hands, which is considered cheating for free soloing because you're not using the rock anymore. So I grabbed them and I would step on them, and it basically makes the climbing much easier. But the thing is, from the position I was in, about 500 feet off the ground, I still, there's no easy way to get down. I didn't want to climb back down 500 feet, so it's a little too hard for that. Maybe it would have been possible, but it was actually easier for me to climb up another 500 feet, which gets me to a ledge system, and then there were ropes going back down to the ground. There are always 1,000 feet of rope up to this one section on cap because it's kind of this feeder area where a bunch of different routes branch off. So normal climbers who are up there camping, they always use these ropes to commute up and down to access the different routes that they're going to climb. So I knew that if I cheated another 500 feet up, and I would get to those ropes, and I could go back down those. So overall, it's just the easiest way for me to get off the mountain.
Let's go in the back more. The woman with the glasses and the curly hair. Yes, you.
Hi. So that brings me to my question. When you got to the top,
How did I get down?
Yeah.
and who else was up there other than the main filmmaker with you up on the very top?
Yeah, so
And
I'm.
how did you guys get down, and who else was up
Yeah,
there?
okay. So on the summit, there were a handful of filmmakers. So Jimmy Chin, the director, and then Claire, one of the cinematographers. He's the guy that I high-five next to the camera. I'm like, good to see you again, buddy. Because he'd actually been filming at the base. He was the barricade filmmaker for the whole film, basically. So he shot most of the interviews with me and my girlfriend and the time of the band and all that. So he's pretty good. And he's actually living here now, so we climbed the gym yesterday. So he's a pretty good friend of mine. So it was good to see him again. And then a couple of the crew who'd been hanging on the wall filming, I think some of them sort of trickled up as we were. The thing is that they had to strip all the lines and carry all their stuff back up because the filmmakers, when they're filming, are hanging down the side of the cliff, hanging from a bunch of ropes. They have a bunch of gear. So to pull that all back up takes a lot of effort. And I was climbing totally unencumbered as quickly as I could, and so I got up and I was like, I feel great, this is terrific. But the filmmakers still had to haul 100 pounds of gear behind them and then sort it all back out again. But we hung out on top for quite a while actually. Taking pictures, soaking in the morning, basking in the sun, eating some snacks. So by the time we were done, I think maybe 3 or 4 other crew members had gone up. One of the riggers, who's a friend of mine. Yes, it was a handful of us, and then I ran down by myself. And the way you get down is El Cap is a vertical face, but the 2 sides are sort of like big, broad shoulders. So you can kind of run down the shoulder, and then there's just a few hundred feet of rappels at the bottom that get you down to a hiking trail.
So how much did it have to take you to get down after?
That day I actually ran down in 45 minutes, which is maybe the fastest I've ever done. But typically I could run down in about an hour and then bike home. But
You're excited to get down.
yeah, what about this little guy in front?
Is there a little guy?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
little
see it.
guy.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Were you sore after the climb?
Was I sore? Actually, so it's funny you ask. So, you see in the film that I'm like, I'm going to hangboard afterward, I'm going to train on the little edges that you hang from to train your fingers. And that's because I was on this every other day program that had been working really well for me. So I was like, I don't want to give up my program just because I finished my project. But anyway, so when I finished the climb, I got to the top and I was like, I feel incredible. I could do it again right now. I feel great. And then I went and did my hangboard session, which is a pretty objective evaluation of your strength at the time because you're basically hanging for set amounts of time and you're doing this repeated workout that you always do. And looking at my numbers, I was like, objectively, I should not climb El Cap again right now. I'm definitely fatigued. Despite the fact that I felt incredible, I was like, I'm so happy I did my big climb. When I was hanging and timing the hangs, I was like, I am definitely tired. I am much weaker than I should be right now. But that's, not that surprising.
How much time do we have?
Maybe a couple more questions.
Let's do 2 or 3 local questions. Right here in the, yes, you.
There were a couple times where there were things like bugs and birds and unpredictable obstacles.
You mean there was nature out there? That is crazy.
How do you actually prepare for such a thing?
Yeah, so it's actually not even mental preparation necessarily. Part of it's just that it's the same way each time that I'm preparing. So when I'm preparing on a rope, it's all the same bugs, all the same birds. Yeah, I think there's a shot of a bird flying basically down my arm in one of the spots. But there's one particular crack where swifts are nested in the crack, and so every time you climb through, you feel these swifts scurrying around inside, and sometimes they fly out. But either way, it's like having a bird nested on your porch or something, where every time you walk out of the house, you're like, oh, there's a little dove, and like the same as always. My mom has a dove that lives outside her house. And so, it's basically like any other kind of nature sighting where, if you go into the same spot all the time, you see the same animals. And like the bees that were all over the wall, those don't sting. Like, I don't know what they are exactly, but they're totally benign. So they're always out there, and you're just climbing, and you're like, oh, little critters. You know, I mean, that's what happens in the outdoors.
It's like they knew.
Yeah.
It's
Not to
not to
disturb.
sting you,
No,
yes.
they never do.
Over here on the left, on the aisle. Yes, Steve.
Hi, it seems like you have public speaking down, and you're not afraid of heights. Is there anything that scares you?
Everything else. I mean, for public speaking, I used to be so afraid of public speaking, but you know, you spend 5 months on a film tour, and it gets pretty comfortable. You know, and I mean, it's just like anything; it's just practice. The more time you spend doing things, the less scary they are. So, I don't know. I'm sure if you asked Anya, she would have a whole list for you.
Let's do one more. Is there another kid in the audience that didn't get? Did this
The other
Ian?
little guy right
Oh,
there.
yeah. Hi, what's your question?
If you ran out of chalk, would you still go and come back down?
If I ran out of chalk, I would be done. I mean, for those who don't know, the chalk bag, you know, I'm using to keep my hands dry the same way a gymnast does, so it makes your grip feel fresh. But no, I knew that I wouldn't run out of chalk. I made sure that the bag was totally full at the bottom, and then, and I mean, and I climbed the route so many times, like I know how much I used, and so, yeah, I'm pretty sparing about the chalk. But I think I didn't run out. And if I did, I'm sure I would have managed anyway, but it's definitely a lot nicer. And also, as a climber, it becomes a psychological crush where you're so used to chalking up all the time that if you don't have a chalk bag, you're like, oh, what do I do with my hands? You're like, well, I'm sure some of you in the film are like, what do I do with my hands? Trying to drag your hands. But, yeah.
You're awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you guys.